What's up, Wanderers? I am Chloë Clover, and basically what we're going to do, what's happening, the reason for this video-ness is we really wanted to capture the things that were happening, positive stories, cool things, cool people. Pixie. Help. Unhelpful Pixie. Right, Pix. So we wanted to speak to some really cool people, share some ideas, experiences, talk a little bit about what's going on, how people are getting through it. And we wanted to keep it pretty chill. We wanted to, I don't know, just we wanted to do something. This is something that we really wanted to do. We were talking to people anyway, and it felt like, why not share that experience? Yes, let's do this. So we are launching Wonder Get Zoomed. Every time I say that, I think that we could think of something better. So if people out there think actually that name's Pants and you could think of something way better, if you've got any ideas, send that our way. Totally game for that. Currently, it's Wonder Get Zoomed. I'm really excited about it. I'm just gonna look at the screen and read if I need to say anything else. Oh, that's a good name. Wonder Vid Chat. Like, instead of Get Zoomed, we should call it Vid Chat.
Yeah, Wonder Vid Chat.
So we've already decided that we're going to rename it again until someone says something better. So we're going to go down Wonder Vid Chat. Today's Vid Chat is going to be with one of the most incredible people we know, Richard Pavlou, Mr. Pav, the Pavmister. He is he's managing director for an amazing business called Stone Technical Services. They do all sorts of stuff. I will let him tell you what they do. He's full of wisdom and knowledge and all good things, positivity, all of that. I'm excited to do it. Let's do it. I'm talking, rambling, as I usually do. So I guess there's nothing left to say, but listening to what Rich has got to say.
Hey Chloe, you alright?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you for coming on Wonder Get Zoomed. And I think
Can we call it Zoomspiration?
That's actually a really good one. I just don't like it when people think of good ones. You can't use them, can you? Because it weren't yours. Because I just made.
It's to be your idea.
I thought it'd be really cool if you maybe told us a little bit about you as a person and Stone Tech as a business, just to kick things off a little bit.
Sure, yeah. So I'm Richard. I'm the Managing Director at Stone Technical Services, as you said. Joined Stone Technical Services 7 years ago now. Fantastically bonkers and weird and almost undescribable company that does all manner of crazy things with buildings and steeplejack services, going up chimneys and church spires and restoration of thousands of year old structures and walls and buildings, lightning protection services. Fantastic opportunity. Like I say, 7 years ago, we've grown the company, more than doubled in size in that time. We operate a nationwide business, and it's just fun. It's I feel a little bit guilty taking a wage sometimes because it's just great fun. We get to go to great places. We get to see things that ordinarily otherwise people wouldn't. I know you guys will remember the day that you came to St Paul's Cathedral with us and had a little bit of an access all areas tour.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Yeah, we did the St Paul's, and you took us around all the secret passages and where Harry Potter was filmed.
Yeah,
stairs, and touched things that I probably shouldn't have touched.
As long as they're all still there.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I didn't touch anything actually. Didn't do that. I think I've seen the stuff that you do, and the work's incredible. I've seen the heights that your guys go to, and it makes my knees feel weak.
Me too.
So everything that's going on right now, and I suppose that it's probably especially difficult for businesses like yourselves, where it's the whole business is hands-on. and there's other things that can be done in the background, and of course there is in any business, but the majority of what you do is very physical, very hands-on, and very person to person. And I suppose that when the world goes into quarantine and lockdown, or at least the UK has and still is right now, that can really affect the business and the workforce. And I guess I'm interested to know how Stone Tech has been dealing with these changes.
I'd probably change one of the things that you said there, and I would say it doesn't affect the business and the workforce. It affects the business by affecting the workforce.
I like that.
Because for me, product is essential. We all need to have a good product, and we all need to have an offering to take it to the marketplace that gives us something, a product on the shelf that we can sell to market. But the product doesn't sell itself. Your product doesn't make you a successful business. Your people make you a successful business. It's your people that will take your product to market and sell it. It's your people that once it's been sold will deliver the product. It's your people. I never saw a self-generated invoice. Even once you've sold it and you've delivered it, there still needs to be somebody that presses some buttons to generate an invoice and collect the cash. Yeah. So without your people, you haven't got anything. Doesn't matter how amazing, how fantastic, star-spangled, awesome your product is. If you haven't got the right people in the right mindset, you will not have a successful business. So for me, when I was sort of facing the prospect of how does Stone Technical Services manage coronavirus, it was really a much easier equation, because what I had to do was come up with how does Stone Technical Service manage its people? Because if we manage the people right, and we take care of our people and we protect our people, the business will be fine too. Yeah.
Now, how are your people managing?
They're good. Finding it? They're bored. They're, you've got to remember 9 out of 10 of them are slightly bonkers and borderline adrenaline junkies. So Netflix and DIY doesn't quite cut it for them. So they're all at home, they're safe, they're with their families, they're enjoying the rest, and they've probably slept more in their own beds in the last 3 weeks since we've been closed down than they have in the previous 6 months.
It's quite a physical job as well, isn't it? So I imagine being to go from being so physical and, like you said, being so active and all over the country and climbing buildings to being in quarantine, it must be quite challenging for the workforce.
Huge culture shock, because obviously they've gone from total active 8 hours a day every day to let's go for a walk, or we'll play with the kids on the trampoline in the garden, or wherever it might be, and it doesn't quite match up. So yeah, it's a big challenge to make sure that we keep them all up, keep them all active. We don't want to see, we've just had Easter, hope there wasn't too many eggs eaten, because we're gonna have to get them ladders and them ropes strength tested when we get back to work. But that's what it's all about. I mean, we've been doing regular social Zoom calls, and we have WhatsApp chat groups and stuff, and just for crack and banter, really, just to keep the connection going, make sure everybody's aware that we're all in the same boat, so there's nobody got it any better or worse than anybody. We're all shut in our houses, but that we're all still here, and that we'll keep that connection going. We are taking advantage of some opportunity to do some online learning and personal development. It's never more relevant than now to get people engaged with what they do. Hopefully when the announcement comes, and hopefully it'll be Boris Johnson, but if not in his absence, maybe Dominic Raab will stand up and say, okay guys, we've got a date for you. This is when we're, ending the lockdown and we can all go back to work. I'm actually hopeful that as a result of this, as a business, yes, we'll have had to take some pain in so much as the commercial side of things and the lack of income and productivity, but we'll actually go back to work with a better workforce, not a weaker one. We've retained 100% of our staff, so nobody's gone, nobody's laid off. So that in itself sent a huge message to everybody that, look, we're going to need you guys. If at the other side of this, there is going to be a huge opportunity to go out into the marketplace and say, okay, guys, we're here, we're back. I'm going to need every one of you. Yeah. And that extends as well. I would say that goes to suppliers. I made a commitment that when we announced that we were going to shut down, which we did voluntarily, we didn't wait until we were told. We, from a social responsibility, never mind as an employer, we took the decision that it wasn't right and we shut down because our guys have all got families and loved ones that are putting them under pressure to say, can't believe you're still going to work. So we took that decision ourselves. But from that moment, I made a commitment. Number one, we will retain 100% of our staff. And number two, we will pay all of our suppliers, which I'm going to say that again, as a managing director of a company in the construction industry, we will pay 100% of our suppliers. The amount of horror stories that I've heard of people who are struggling desperately to collect monies owed for services rendered prior to the shutdown is frightening. It really is frightening. And if there's two sets of people that we are going to need more than ever on the other side of this, it will be our staff and our suppliers.
You were saying earlier as well that you're sort of embracing video technology. That's how you're checking in with people, and that also, but outside of business, that you've embraced it into your personal world as well. You were saying that you were doing like family quizzes and all that stuff. And
not only doing the family quiz, hosting the family quiz, by the way.
Were you Quizmaster? I feel like you were.
I was Bob Holness. That's one for the kids there, yeah, great fun. We've got, my fiance's mum lives in France. Her dad lives in Wales. She's got family in Scotland. We had family in Manchester. We had local family. There was 10 people from across Europe, essentially. And it was like we were all in the same room. And the messages that came through to the family group chat afterwards were saying, oh my God, fantastic. That was absolutely amazing. Thoroughly enjoyed it. When are we doing the next one? To which we replied, okay, we'll do another one next week. And we got replies that said, next week? What about tomorrow, 8 o'clock? Can't we do it again? So amazing. And the crazy part is none of this technology has been invented as a result of coronavirus.
Right.
It's always been there.
Yeah.
All of our family have always been spread out the way they currently are.
Yeah.
But for some reason, because we're all a little bit bored, let's think about that for a second. Because we were a little bit bored, we decided that it would be a good idea to engage with our family and embrace the technology and have a bit of fun. We could have been doing that for years.
Suddenly got this space and this clarity to be like, actually, freaking family, it's there, it's always been there, and it's important, and we've got this time and we should be doing these things.
You're busy, Chloe. You guys work like crazy, and I know that more than most, and as do I, and we do crazy hours, and long after the 5 o'clock bell's gone, we'll still be rattling away on whatever it is, keyboard we're operating, or in your case a camera. And it's dead easy to be too busy.
Yeah.
Too busy to do that. I'm too busy to speak to them. I'm too busy to invest my time into that. We all got too busy taken away from us.
Yeah, we did.
we all got our default excuse involuntarily removed from our vocabulary. So I've read books. I can't remember the last time I just sat down for pure leisure and no other reason, read a book.
I totally agree. I've just read Prisoner of Azkaban. yeah, I'm with you there. Yeah, I haven't read that since I was like about 14. So.
I think I was already 35 when it came out.
I think I'm a little bit embarrassed now. I think I've got a little bit red.
How many times in our lifetime will we get this opportunity to say, I've got to say as well, by the way, respect to the government in terms of what they've done, in terms of the financial support and the facilities that have been put in place to make it more practical to do it, because it's a much bigger decision, a much harder decision to make without that backing financially from the government. So yeah, hands up, respect for that. But how many times in our lifetime will we be given the opportunity to say, go home, you, at the very least, no matter who you're working for, providing they deal with things in the correct manner, you'll get 80% of your salary, have some time to yourself, stay safe, follow the rules, spend some time with your family, reconnect, do some of those things like reading Prisoner of Azkaban or whatever it might be that you've been thinking you were going to get round to forever, and just relax and recharge and hopefully self-improve and learn.
Okay. Can you give me a positive from this situation? What sort of sounds like you've already done that. Like, well, in fact, I think in this conversation you've given so many positives, and they seem to have totally outweighed the negatives, which we all know. We're all aware that this isn't. It's not a nice situation, and there's bad things happening. There's people dying and all that. But to keep focus on the good, I think that's really powerful, and that's something that you've got in abundance. Like that is you are Mr. Positivity, and yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Do you know, it's an interesting point, because I was chatting again to I don't think he would mind me mentioning, actually. It was my good friend Wayne Jones from Frank's the Flooring Store, who loves carpets, he does, and we'll all know him from the adverts. And he's a similar character to me, and he's a little bit larger than life, and he's Mr. Confident and really long-standing sales background, and speaks well and comes across really uber positive and almost bulletproof. And I rang him up today. I said, "How are you doing?" He said, "I'm struggling." I said, "Me too." And he said, "It's hard, isn't it?" I said, "Do you want to know something? I'm going to let you into a little secret, Wayne. This is what I think. I think it's people like you and me that are going to struggle with this scenario more than most. There's a lot of people. There's a category of people who, during this period, are publicly saying, 'Oh, it's really tough, isn't it? Really hard.' And secretly inside, they're thinking, 'This is my idea of heaven.'" The more introvert people who get to close the curtains, shut the door, don't have to speak to anybody, don't even have to speak to the delivery driver anymore because he drops it 2 meters from the door and he has to walk out and get it. It is literally, they're not the people that are struggling. They're actually finding this quite comfortable. Okay, there's other elements to the whole scenario that I'm sure they're finding difficult. But in terms of the isolation and the quarantine, probably finding it very easy. But the more extrovert, social flowers that like to be around people and you know, I'm a hugger. Well, all of a sudden, there's no "how are you" and hugs, because there's nobody there to speak to. I need to be around other people. Those are the people that I suspect will probably be struggling with this set of circumstances the most. And if I was to give, I was going to say a bit of advice, but not really, more a plea. If anybody is out there who knows people who are a little bit like me and a bit extrovert and a bit larger than life, if you know people like that, give them a call, because I'm fairly confident they'll be the people struggling with this more than most. We are going to live, whether we like it or not, in a nicer society post-coronavirus than the one we lived in before it. I tell you what, we're going to have a newfound respect for hairdressers at the end of this. Not that that's going to particularly challenge me, but when I've seen some of the disasters that have been posted online, I think people's tipping mentality when it comes to hairdressers in the future might just go up a little bit.
100%. Thank you so much for catching up and spending a little bit of time making my day brighter. But hopefully, the idea is that we can just talk about things that are happening, talk about things that are happening within business and the world and all of that stuff, and help people feel a little less bored.
Sure. Listen, if one person watches this video and picks the phone up to that person that they would never have thought was going to be maybe struggling with isolation and has a conversation, and that person feels better as a result of it, then it's worthwhile. And if nothing else, it's entertained us for 20 minutes.
yeah, absolutely. No, I honestly, I appreciate it. And everything you do with Stone Technical Services. You guys are amazing. You are amazing.
And you guys keep beating the scroll.
Thank you so much, Rich. That was incredible. It's just, it felt relaxed and chilled and just chatting about all things COVID-19 and how everyone's dealing, all things positive and the goodness that's coming out of it, seeing his family and doing all of that stuff. And yeah, it was great to catch up. Hopefully you guys liked it as well. And if you do like that content, drop us a killer like. If you want to share some love, share some thoughts, whatever, drop us a comment. If you want to see more content, it would be incredible if you subscribed. It would be amazing to have you on that journey. And I guess there is now nothing more to say other than see you on the next one.